Hello and welcome to another episode of Love Aptitude Tests. If this is your first time joining me, be sure to hit that subscribe button, the notification bell, and you'll know when I'll drop another video on various topics. Thank you. So without further ado, I'm gonna get right to it. Why the disingenuous confusion about FBA? Before I get into that, I'm going to explain briefly what FBA means, Foundational Black American. The term FBA, Foundational Black American, describes black people in the United States who descend from those enslaved in America. The lineage that built the country's economic foundation through forced labor. A distinct cultural group with its own history, struggles, and contributions. It's not about superiority, exclusion, or nationalism. It's about lineage clarity and political specificity. Foundational Black American refers to black people in the U.S. who descend from the African Americans, some which were already here on American soil prior to emancipation. That's it. It's not vague, not new, not controversial, and not hard to understand. It's a lineage, just like Native American tribes, Haitian, Jamaican, Nigerian, Afro-Caribbean, or even Dominican. No one pretends to be confused about those identities, although it's a distinct historical lineage which built the U.S. economy through forced labor, endured centuries of uniquely American anti-black laws, and also fought for civil rights that benefited all people, all black people, including immigrants. FBA is a distinct cultural formation which the people shaped cultures like music, which includes blues, jazz, hip hop, Black American vernacular, civil rights activism traditions, amongst many inventions here in America. And lastly, Foundational Black Americans is a distinct political claim. Reparations, redress, specific policy demands rely on lineage, not generic racial categories. You cannot address a specific harm without naming the specific group harmed. So let's get into why are there bad faith people pretending to be confused about what FBA is, Foundational Black Americans. For example, when people say, why separate black people? I don't get it. They're usually doing one of these things: avoiding lineage-based reparations, trying to dilute political claims, dodging uncomfortable historical truth. Many people understand the term perfectly well, but claim confusion for a few reasons: to blur distinct lineages. If all black people are lumped into one generic category, it becomes harder to acknowledge unique historical harms against black Americans, track who is owed specific political or economic repair, discuss disparities between black American descendants of slavery, Calling FBA confusing is an attempt to muddy those waters. To avoid discussing reparations, a common tactic is to pretend we are all just black. We don't need subcategories. That framing conveniently avoids the issue of who is actually owed reparations and why. To undermine political power, FBA identity is tied to voting blocks, civil rights struggles, and economic justice. When people pretend they don't get it, it's usually an attempt to weaken a political position, not a real misunderstanding. And to equate experience instead of acknowledging differences. Some people feel uncomfortable acknowledging that FBA history is uniquely tied to U.S. slavery. Immigrant experiences differ. Not every black experience in America is interchangeable. So they claim confusion instead of facing that complexity, the truth, which is not complex. Why it feels disingenuous? Simply because it is. They understand foundational black Americans the same way they understand Native American, Irish American, Afro-Caribbean, Nigerian American. It's only when black lineage is specified that people suddenly get confused. That's no accident. That's deflection. In conclusion, so when you hear someone ask you, what is FBA? And they pretend to act confused, here's a shutdown statement that you can use to any debate that removes emotion, argument loops, and bad faith misinterpretations. Simply, foundational black American refers to black Americans whose ancestors were enslaved in the U.S. It's a lineage, not a personality trait, not a cult. Every ethnic group has a specific ancestry, and ours isn't up for debate.